A lot of people travel with their motorcycle through the Balkans. Through all of the Balkans? No, there's this one place called Kosovo that everyone seems to avoid. A place perceived as dangerous and with a history that most of Europe would like to forget about. Hell, the world is split in half on what this place even is. On top, there's almost no motorcycle travel content on this country, as it's too hot of a potato to touch, as it's almost impossible to make a video about it without colossally messing it up. So, let's answer the question, what is up with Kosovo?
Welcome back to the Freemilesmc, and we're going to visit today one of the youngest countries in the world, Kosovo, which has gotten independence about 15 years ago. Honestly, I can already tell I already have to apologize in advance because making a video about that region is basically impossible in a way that doesn't offend anyone. So I will try my absolute best to give you the most neutral perspective in the middle. And also, why am I going to Kosovo? Not many people go there, and I thought it's something where I want to show how it is actually there to go through the country. What is it like there? Let's make our way to the border to Kosovo. I'm a bit nervous about the border crossing because my experience with the Serbian border crossing was like, nah, you know? So let's see how that will go. Why is the situation with Kosovo so difficult? Trying to give a little bit of a historic background. Here in like Serbia and in the Balkans in the 700 after Christ, there were like a few countries that were like, it was I think Serbia, Croatia and Slovenia roughly, but they were like kind of as regions everyone somewhat got along. Then the Christian faith got involved here. People picked up the Christian faith. Back then, Kosovo was part of Serbia and also a big trade hub back then. And that's also why a lot of monasteries then got built there. In the 14th or 1500, the Ottoman Empire invaded the Balkans and invaded them successfully. And then when they invaded them successfully, they put like very strong ruling onto the Christian people that lived here. Wars taxed and taking the firstborn child and sending them to some place like every now and then, and other rough stuff. So, and the condition was basically to pick up Islam. And some countries did that, Albania and Bosnia, and I think also some other place, and other countries didn't. So Albania and Serbia, as neighboring countries, then had different faiths. The years went along, and then you had a guy named Tito in power in Serbia, and they had natural resources in Kosovo that they were not really able to mine because they were missing the workforce, as the First World War killed 60% of the Serbian population, and then they also got a bit of extra with the Second World War and also got some extra with genocide happening by the Germans. It wasn't a really rough spot, so as it then was United Yugoslavia, Tito put Albanians as an ethnic minority into Kosovo to work, basically. And this ethnic minority became the majority, I think up to 95%. The whole Tito situation went belly up and left a big power vacuum, which resulted in a civil war because of like the religious tensions and everyone then basically dividing themselves as a different country that should rule over the other countries, led to a lot of ethnic cleansing. In that power vacuum, a group in Kosovo decided to fight for its independence, which led to a war between Serbia and Kosovo. It was a brutal, very bad war. Loads of war crimes, ethnic cleansing, the whole 9 yards. Really, really bad. Both sides were doing that stuff to each other, and Kosovo then asked the Western powers for help.
One thing that's important to note here, even though both sides were committing atrocities, the KLR was forced to resort to guerrilla war tactics, which made it basically impossible and not the real objective to hold a town for an extended period of time, which led to the Albanian civilians being more exposed to the Serbian forces and the potential of a full-on genocide.
With America and the Western powers helped Kosovo in its fight. That was mainly the US and Germany. Part of that deal was that the US would be able to build a military base close to Russia, basically, in Kosovo. And of course, with like American foreign policy and stuff, being able to do something like that in a former socialist country was kind of the icing on the cake. They bombed Serbia. And they bombed Serbia quite heavily, and also not just military areas, but also civilian infrastructure, which was pretty bloody and is a lesson about NATO that is not taught in school, by the way. Like, that is the type of stuff where my history lessons went like, no, we don't talk about that. So yeah, that's why this is quite weirdly charged. And also in this war, because the people were mainly Kosovo Albanians, one of the conditions of that help was also to not be able to unite with Albania if they would ever reach independence. So that's something that's embedded into their constitution, if I remember correctly. So it left Kosovo in this very weird position, because they are now one independent country that got independent in, I think, 2008. But the problem is Serbia still sees it as like one part of their country, like one local region of them. And also half the world doesn't recognize it. Basically, you really clearly see the world's ideologically split on exactly that issue. There was constant trouble about this, and the last talks were that they wanted to split up Kosovo on its ethnic lines, which would have meant that the small north, where the 5% Serbians live, would go to Serbia, and the rest would be Kosovo. But then, especially Germany, started holding like a conference, like it was all European countries, but Germany was at the forefront of that, basically saying that it's a bad idea to draw ethnic lines in Europe.
Und das, was uns leitet, ist die Tatsache, dass nur die gesamte Region sich entwickeln kann. Es können keine Abkommen gemacht werden zu Lasten anderer, die dann die Folgen zu tragen haben.
With the thought that maybe could have a domino effect in the Balkan states in general, and that then also the whole like Kosovo not becoming part of Albania thing maybe could be put into question. And basically the people in Kosovo, what they are basically trying is to just maintain peace. In a sense, like that is basically the highest objective. But with all these different factors, and I probably misrepresented something and probably also forgot another thing and whatever, it's quite a dicey subject. The thing is, to get into the EU, Serbia and Kosovo need to figure their shit out.
Kompromisse muss nicht nur eine Seite machen, nicht nur das Kosovo, sondern auch natürlich Serbien. Nur wenn es hier Fortschritte gibt, gibt es auch Fortschritte im Zusammenhang mit der Annäherung an die Europäische Union. Das gilt für Serbien genauso wie für Kosovo.
But there is no real playbook on what they should do. Like it was basically, yeah, don't do that, but we don't know what else you should do. And yeah. Of course, these tensions are then rising and rising, also with like more nationalistic ideas popping up all over the world, and the European Union itself becoming more and more nationalistic. Of course, the whole bread and stick dynamic starts to suffer quite a lot. So yeah, it will continue to be a very interesting subject, and curious how it will continue the next few years. And there's still UN Blue Helm soldiers, I think, stationed there. Seems to be a pretty dicey subject, and curious how it will be to actually be in that country. So that was basically my explanation on why it's a bit of a wild one to go to Kosovo. If there was anything wrong with my explanation, some kind of biasy, if I missed something, please leave it in the comments, because this is a topic where my history lessons in school were like, no, we don't talk about that. I basically have no school education on this issue, and also a lot of like articles for research purposes were geologged when I googled this kind of stuff, and I also tried to basically show a bit the situation of both sides, basically the struggle of having a region that has been historically Serbian from like geographically speaking, but the people that live there are mostly not Serbian, so that's kind of what the issue boils down to. And a lot of articles on the issue are actually blocked, so feel free to correct me, and yeah, but keep it nice and friendly. Apart from that, have been really enjoying Serbia, except for the salads. Like I had a salad for breakfast, and like, what's up with the Serbian salad? I think I ordered now a Serbian salad the last few days like 3 times, and to see how it is, you know. But every time I just gotten basically tomatoes with gherky and basically no dressing. I left that in cafes, places to find food, and supermarkets. They play Serbian cover songs of like American songs. Like, that's so funny, like sitting in a cafe and listening to Hotel California as a jazz cover with the thickest Serbian accent. It's absolutely unbeatable. Also today in the supermarket in the morning there was a Serbian version of I Will Survive playing, like with not like with a Serbian accent, but like full on in another language. How cool. Finally some 95. It's now the third gas station I tried that only had diesel. So we are now on the border over to Kosovo. Google Maps said that this road is impossible to take, so it's now using Apple Maps. But Apple Maps would also confidently send you off a cliff. Yeah, the page of the German embassy said I shouldn't go here. Yeah, and over here. Probably will have to turn off the cameras in a minute, or cover them at least, because they don't like this kind of stuff that much. Yeah, so how will it go? We will be crossing through the Serbian part of the border crossing. The Serbian part of the border crossing will not outstamp my passport, so I'm basically still on my 90 days that my passport allows me to stay in this country. Most likely Kosovo is not going to stamp my passport either, as from what I read online they just often then don't bother. And this region here sometimes gets some tensions, but I said that earlier, like, that there are sometimes some tensions here. I'm believing that we're going to be fine, because mostly everything we've seen here in the Balkans here has been quite European, and I don't think this is going to be much different. And yeah, like for me as a German here, absolutely fine. And I don't think that there's much like actual trouble traveling through here. So yeah, I'm quite positive that this border crossing maybe even goes smoother than the Serbian one. So yeah. Hello. Yeah, they really don't like cameras. We're going to... I don't want to park in this police car. Yeah, we now made it into Kosovo. Only thing is that we need to buy insurance for the motorcycle. Let's go.
Hello, sir. I want to buy insurance for my motorcycle. Do you need my vehicle papers? Yeah.
10 euro.
10 euro. Take
Only
card?
cash.
Oh shit. Do you take Serbian currency?
Yeah, this is it. We made it. We now had to buy an insurance policy that I wasn't expecting. It would have been $10, but I couldn't get my hands on euro in Serbia, so I just had to wing it with Serbian currency, and of course that didn't go that well. So I had to pay a small upcharge to make that go smoothly. Oh. Okay, you can see how unrelaxed this place can be. Fucking cars with machine gun turrets. Okay, yeah. Chill. Whoa, those roads here have potholes that can absolutely get you off your bike. That was such a deep pothole that I had to swerve to avoid it, because hitting that would have been catastrophic. Still some Serbian flags swinging here. So we're now going to make our way to the capital of Kosovo to kind of get an idea there how it is. Apart from that, Kosovo is not that big. It has about an inhabitants of around 1.8 million people. But the roads here so far are quite amazing for the motorcycle. That is in general something. Kosovo has loads of great motorbiking roads for gravel riding and street riding all over the country. So you could actually, if you would want to, spend a lot of time here. It's kind of a secret tip if you are comfortable with this kind of situation here. But from what I read online, as soon as you're in the country, everything is mostly chill, so yeah. Ooh, what is that? Wow. Just have a look at this beautiful... What is that? That's a VW with a Mercedes front end. Oh, there's a Shell gas station. Doesn't that thing look wild? That must be a Mercedes front end from the 40s. Tires are all flat. And yeah, the rear axle is completely fucked up, like it has reverse camber. Yeah, this is Kosovo. We're in the middle of Kosovo. So, as you can see, we're still in the Serbian part of Bosnia, which you can also recognize on those Orthodox churches and on all the Serbia flags. As the Serbs make up roughly 5% of the population here, they are mostly Orthodox Christians. So the little police checkpoints here in Kosovo look very wild. You can still see a few walls of it behind it. I cannot show it to you on camera as they are illegal to film. But it looks pretty wild. It looks like real little outpost with like walls and
little holes in the wall for defensive purposes, and you have like big Hummers like the American military uses with turrets on the top saying police on the side. It's pretty crazy. I think I've never seen a police Hummer, and I also never saw a police Hummer with a turret on the top. Also, I didn't know that these Hummers are that low. I always thought they would be a bit higher. Vicious. You guys see that dog? Completely locked in. Fuck. Let's maybe not mess with this thing. Just wanted to get a cool shot. Don't want it to be in a stare down with a dog showing his teeth. Eye contact. That's what we do. Eye contact. Dog doesn't seem harmless, but it also doesn't seem like it's doing well. But he found a comfortable couch at least. For fuck's sake. This is not what I'm... Oh no. The dog is hurt. You don't need to run away from me.
Yeah, it is quite common to encounter cows here on the road, as you also can see here. And some of them are actually quite big ones. So far I have to say the landscape here in Kosovo is quite beautiful. You have a lot of trash though. So and we're now in the Albanian side of the country. As you can also see that you have more and more mosques here. Kind of looking for internet at the moment because I cannot navigate myself as I don't have enough internet to search up a route, and I need to go to an ATM badly as I don't have euro currency. As a motorcycle rider I have to be very careful here because people and traffic law have an odd relationship here. And I multiple times had people completely disregard my safety now. So we're riding here through the landscape and it's very beautiful. But similar to the other Balkan countries, really often you see stuff like this. Here you see the Albanian flag. As you see, all these people died in 1999. The crimes committed against the Albanian people here by the Serbians must have been terrible, especially if you look at the numbers of civilian victims. And also, as you see, it's those people on these pictures are not soldiers. They're old men, children, women. There seems still to be some tension here. As you see, this memorial also has been vandalized with some faces being scraped off, and there's also another plate laying down on the floor that has been shattered. So let's get going again. The traces and the tensions of these events is still feelable here, definitely. And also with the amount of police and partial military presence. But still, at the same time, you have normal life happening here. And apart from seeing these things, it's actually quite a normal and chill situation. I earlier talked to some people who live here, and it was all chill and normal, basically like in every other country on the European continent. It's just that basically their history looks like that. And if that history is not that far away, of course you feel it. Basically, the opposing interests also, due to the bad crimes against the population, is the desire of the people who live here of safety and having the human rights guaranteed, basically, against Serbia's perspective of keeping their territory intact, basically. It is something that we in the rest of the Western world have very little idea about, that was a struggle and it's still an ongoing issue, and at the same time, because it's like so in the middle of the ideologies, it makes it kind of a political no man's land. Then with the UN getting involved, many Serbian people are of course upset.
Short correction, NATO got involved. It's sometimes hard to get everything right when riding the bike.
Because the intervention of mostly the US and Germany has been against, I hope I say this right, civil law, so Bürgerrecht, because it was without a UN resolution. So similar to the Cambodia, what a bumpy road. But in this case, it's a bit more blurry than with the Cambodia comparison. And so basically, and also it doesn't really help that the US just didn't just do this out of the kindness of their heart with trying to save the Kosovo people of crimes against humanity, but also because of the bipolar world order back then, and still, and to get that military base basically installed. And both sides kind of have their grievances towards each other. In the bombing of Serbia, also ammunition was used that was dirty and also mixed with uranium. It's something that also doesn't really find representation in pop culture in Western media, because it's one thing having like scientific articles about something, but who's going to read a Google Scholar article, you know? Almost no cultural representation of this issue, except for one movie where two soldiers are stuck in a field together. I forgot its name. I think it's a Serbian movie. And then also when it comes to Western media, the only kind of representation that topic has gotten, that is also probably the only contact that any of you watching this has gotten with this topic, is the video game Grand Theft Auto 4. Because the protagonist of Grand Theft Auto 4, in the video game you play a Serbian war criminal who goes to New York to figure his shit out, basically. They managed to really nicely portray the inner conflicts of basically this reality, and also really show quite well that the main protagonist is on the one side, like, has committed these atrocities.
Life is complicated. I never thought I'd live like this.
No?
When the war came, I did bad things. And after the war, I thought nothing of doing bad things.
But at the same time is also victim to similar atrocities. It's really nicely like layered in the artificial internet that the video game has, where like the main character writes emails to his mom. They made it quite well, and the video game also really well portrays how normal everyday people can become people like that.
I was good once. I was a normal kid who got sucked into a war he didn't believe in, and forced to watch his friends die, forced to do things he did not want to do in order to survive. If I can get pulled into this world, I can pull myself out. I've tried to make the right choices.
And the video game also then has quite nicely layered, in contrast to the reality of the main character having lived through these things, the reality of then seeing the other system, the system opposing socialism.
Then the West takes notice, and you are watching your neighbor's house blowing up on the international news channel.
And it being also with its major flaws, and then basically trying to survive at the bottom valley of the flaws of that system. to kind of wherever people stand on this issue with in this country. I think also that particular video game leaves us with quite a good quote to sum it up, no matter where you stand on this.
War is where the young and stupid are tricked by the old and bitter into killing each other.
Sadly, my last audio recording is broken, so I have to do it as a voiceover. We arrived in Pristina, and what a city. I instantly was amazed by the, let's say, charm of the Eastern European architecture. The traffic was quite wild, we got some cash. Something that was quite apparent about Pristina, that they're like every once in a while like completely blacked out G-classes that are the cleanest cars you will have ever seen. Also Maybachs and other fancy cars, and they behave completely insane in traffic. I found a place to stay and was very surprised that the place was on the Bill Clinton Boulevard with a huge billboard with Bill Clinton's face plastered all over it. And it was a wild sight, also mixed with all the flags of Kosovo, flags of Albania and flags of America, and then randomly having Bill Clinton's face in the mix.
Oh, sorry. Happens. Here. Here. I'm sorry, I have to go. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
So I am now here in this Airbnb, and this is where I work and edit. And you already see loads of sweets are lying there. That's not because I'm trying to speedrun diabetes. It's because today here is a holiday. I didn't know it. So the only thing I was able to get today when it came to food and water, like anything to drink, was stuff from a vending machine. Also because today in the morning I found out that the tap water and any kind of water, including the washing machine that I came here for, doesn't run in this place. One of the big questions that's probably on all of you guys' mind, that I also answered in the broken audio recording, is Kosovo safe to visit? And I have to say, yes, Kosovo is so far safe to visit. The term safe to visit is on travel channels thrown around very loosely. I mean like it's actually safe to visit. And if it's not safe to visit, then it's because shit really hit the fan and everything is going to shit. Yeah, the chance of that is small, but there. But that's basically the only thing that makes it different from other places, even though there can be some other security concerns. People are shooting outside, slightly unrelaxed. Let's have a look at the window. By the way, if you hear stuff like that outside your window, don't check the fucking window. Yeah. Already over, I think. This now sounds bad, but it's not as bad as it sounds because it's more of a cultural thing. I've heard from some of my friends from Germany who are from here that at some like festivals people shoot into the air, and today is a holiday, so that's the reason for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little deep dive on Kosovo. Also, please check out the channel membership and the Patreon of the channel, because I'm not sure if this stuff is getting monetized, as the topics that we also talked about in this video can be quite rough, and you can almost play demonetization bingo with this one. So yeah,